Hello and welcome to the Collegiate Sports Network for tonight's game between the Wichita Collegiate Spartans and the Independence Bulldogs. Both teams have gotten off to a little bit of a rocky start so far to start the season, with the Spartans sitting at 0-2 and the Bulldogs sitting at 1-2. Aiden, what are you looking for this Spartan offense and defense for the girls to get going a little bit, maybe get a positive note going on this season?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, talking a little bit to our only senior on the team, Kaylee Villa-Gomez, to try and get some outside perspective on what to look for going into this game. I learned a little bit about how the collegiate offense is planning on handling this intense Independence Bulldogs defense. Is they're incorporating the same kind of triangle offensive strategy that they incorporated last year, but this time trying to focus on passing outside the paint, really controlling the pace, like in last just the other day's game we saw they really struggled with on Thursday. So something that we're definitely going to be looking for is for them to be just kind of trying to maintain control of the ball, control the turnovers is probably another one of the biggest things, is just making it down the court and giving themselves all the opportunities they can to score. And then also watching out for these Independence Bulldogs. They got a lot of big players, especially for girls high school basketball, especially bigger than our kind of shorter-ish lineup regarding pretty much everyone except for Julia Herman. So that's another thing, is kind of when it gets down into it in the paint, Collegiate's definitely going to be at a disadvantage. So it's kind of just controlling the ball, doing everything they can to give themselves the best kind of opportunities.
Yeah, and Aiden, a story that we've seen so far this year that's impacted the Spartans has simply just been depth. The Spartans really only playing 5 or 6 girls in a rotation, and that's not going to be helped by the fact that Langley Overman is also out for the Spartans.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing to see. We saw in this last Thursday's game, she kind of hit her head but waved it off during the game, continuing to play, which made everyone kind of think that it was just a nothing, just a kind of a stinging moment. But in actuality, it turned out to be a concussion that might take her out for quite a bit, which severely hinders these collegiate girls.
Getting ready to get going here from Circle, as it's this Independence Bullpups team against the Wichita Collegiate Spartans. Just about a minute left. Starting lineups being announced for both sides. This tournament, I guess I should call it a tournament game, taking place in Circle here. Kind of a round robin between Collegiate's division and the division of the Bulldogs. So Collegiate's already played 2 games. The Bulldogs have played 3. Julia Herman announced for the Spartans. Certainly it was a standout star last year, gaining all-state honors.
Yeah, definitely one of the better players on the collegiate team. She has really kind of led her team in scoring so far this year, but also just facilitating plays, probably just all around the best team player on the team, not only in high-scoring player.
Spartans last year did have troubles. Spartans last year did have troubles with depth, as it looks like they're going to have problems with this year. Seems like the Spartans still just haven't quite found that depth that they're looking for. Certainly we know that there are people in the middle school that certainly those teams have a little bit more depth up and down. The Spartans certainly will be waiting for that. Positive note for the Spartans, though, is a little bit more experience on this team, a little bit more leadership from the upper classes, with Julia Herman now being an upperclassman, like you said, Kaylee Villa-Gomez. That should certainly be able to help the Spartans as we get ready to get going here.
Yeah, absolutely. However, with only one freshman who's being consistently played in varsity games, we still see kind of a lack of ability to switch out players, and that definitely is hindering their later gameplay. So something to look out for is if they're going to want to take a win, they're really going to have to find an advantage early and then just hold on to it. I think that'll be definitely the best way for Collegiate to get a win here.
Herman and Lemos at center court getting ready to tip off the ball. Ball's in the air, tip is away, and Downing comes away with the ball for the Spartans. Spartans into the front court now. Downing picks up the dribble, tries to get the pass into Herman. Herman was blocked by a defender, though, and turned over to the Independence Bulldogs. Independence now taking the ball up the court, handled by Maddox. Pass inside to Lemos. Lemos kicks it out for three. No good. Missed everything. That time a three by Bashir and rebounded by Downing.
Kind of a good start to the game for Collegiate. Even with the turnover, defense kind of was able to stop those points from coming in.
Spartans are going to look to get the ball in a lot today, but certainly that's going to be the key emphasis of the Bulldog defense to try to stop that. That time on that possession, Collegiate couldn't get anything in and instead passes the ball out of bounds. Turnover that time on Downing. Etchison now handling the ball for the Bulldogs up the court. Dribbling against Downing. Kicks it out to the right. Ball swung around to the left, still on the perimeter, trying to dribble in, unable to do so. Mid-range jumper is good. Maddox gets one from about 20 feet. Collegiate struggling to get the ball up court a little bit. Downing finally gets it to Herman just across the timeline. And now out to Conrad. Back to Downing, sets up the offense.
This Independence team still incorporating the full court defense, trying to halt the Collegiate's advance.
Top of the key, the ball is deflected out of bounds as Herman tried to get a pass into Conrad, but it was deflected away. Ball into Herman. Herman goes up with it and scores. Good post action for the Spartans on the inbound play.
Yeah, really hard to stop Herman when she gets down into the paint.
Bashir at the top of the key, kicks it out. Back to Maddox. Maddox swings it around to the right. Downing guarding her. And a travel. 2 steps taken that time by Jones as the Bulldogs turn the ball over. Spartan defense holds strong once again. Bulldogs picking the Spartans up at full court. Conrad picks up her dribble, gets it to Herman, back to Turnez now. Turnez dribbling the ball up the court, able to get it across, but fumbles the ball and ruled out of bounds, going the Bulldogs' way. Turnez frustrated with herself as the Spartans turn it over.
Kind of a slow start to this game. Don't see as much high-intense action as we saw in the last game.
Pass inside, picked off by Herman. Spartans moving up the court quickly on the right side. Downing stopped on the dribble. Now dribbles it out to the top of the key, dribbles right. Passes to Herman at the top of the key, now out to Downing on the right side. Downing dribbles to the left, picks it up, gives it off to Herman in the post. Herman up and good. Herman using all that height to her advantage, scores another 2 for the Spartans, who now take the 4-2 lead. Ball in transition, though, to Independence and scored by Brooklyn Maddox. Tempo of the game starting to pick up a little bit. Downing is trapped in the full court, and the ball is picked up, nearly saved. And timeout called by Dylan Heath, his first. Etchison picked up the ball, looked like she was going to have it saved, and passed it right back to Herman, who picked it up, and a timeout called by Dylan Heath. We'll see if the Spartans or the Bulldogs go for a couple of substitutions here. Early into this game, it does look like Monahan for the Spartans is going to check in. The freshman has been solid so far this season.
Yeah, you know, she kind of complements the Collegiate team well, getting some really good playmaker here. One of the biggest things that Collegiate has kind of struggled with so far this year is having a lot of turnovers, a lot of really easy mental mistakes, as we've kind of seen already so far in this game. And with Claire Monahan, she's very well complemented, especially Julia Herman, in being a good playmaker and giving good, accurate passes, which is something Collegiate desperately needs.
thing that stood out to me so far, Aiden, has been the Spartan defense. Seems like the Spartans have really been able to lock down Independence when they've made a mistake maybe on offense. They've kind of helped turn the tide with the defense, and this game's still even at 4-4 after that first timeout.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope to see that continued throughout this game. Is that Collegiate has just been really doing a really good job on defense, preventing Independence from getting any opportunities.
Spartans moving the ball up court quickly. Independence was caught pressing, but they were able to get back on defense. Downing now with the ball at the top of the key, once again handling the offense for the Spartans. Ball tipped away and deflected and out of bounds off of Independence. Once again out on Etchison.
That was another opportunity for a turnover, kind of wasted away by just a missed dribble.
Yeah, Spartans had a transition look, but it was stopped quickly by Independence, who was able to get back on defense. Spartans now with the ball in once again. Turner's on the far right side. Dribbles around to the left. Spartans still moving at the top of the key. Conrad with the ball now, trying to get any kind of look inside. Still unable to. Herman now dribbling the ball on the right side, still beyond the perimeter. Ball finally kicked back out to Downing, and the Spartans are going to try to reset. Downing gets the ball into Herman. Herman puts it up once again, and just barely no good. Herman with their own rebound and gets it to go. Julia Herman being the entire Spartan offense right now with 6 points early in the going as the Spartans have a 6-4 lead. Collegiate fighting on defense. Ball layup, no good. Good defensive stand there. That time by Monahan. Collegiate comes down with the rebound, and Turnus takes the ball up for the Spartans. Downing on the right side. Kicks it out to Conrad. Conrad gets it into... back to Downing. Heath trying to implore the Spartans to pass the ball, get the ball moving. Monahan trapped at the top of the key, passes it back out to Downing. Downing dribbles right. Hard screen set by Herman, and it's going to be called as an offensive screen, illegal screen there on Herman.
Man, that kind of really, it looks like Collegiate's offense was just a deer in headlights. They could not find their players to pass to, could not get that ball moving whatsoever, which is one of the things I talked about at the very beginning before this game, is that they have to keep this ball moving. They have to take the advantage early and cannot afford stupid mistakes like that.
Phil Gomez checks in for Conrad. Independence able to get the ball in and a score. Quick basket by Maddox, or correction, Lemos. Ball nearly stolen away for the Spartans in the half court. Herman now with the ball dribbling up court. Unable to get the ball across half, finally does just before time. Downing now takes the ball, controlling it for the Spartans. Herman on the right side, heavily pressured, gets it back to Downing. Herman fakes the screen. Downing still with the ball. Picks up the dribble, passes it off to Monahan. Monahan now dribbling down, crosses up a defender and passes it over the head of Villagomez out of bounds.
Yeah, that's another thing that we saw a lot of in this last game, was a lot of high passes resulting in turnovers. Villagomez was very clearly open right there. Just a high pass threw away an entire offensive press. 5
turnovers already for the Spartans in this game. Something they're going to have to clean up if they want to win this. Top of the key, it's Maddox. No good. Rebound fought for. Downing comes down with it in contest of 4 defenders. 2 minutes now left in the quarter. Downing gets it across half court. Crosses up a defender. Downing working downhill. Kicks it to the left. Villagomez fakes going up with it. Deflected back out to Downing. Downing, Turnas now on the baseline. Gets it back to Villagomez. Villagomez fouled. Reach in there. That time on Lemos.
Man, that was some good offensive movement right there by Collegiate. A lot more passing, a lot of accurate passes, and it kind of looked like Independence Bulldogs were forced to drag behind them.
Ball into Herman this time. Herman looking for someone to pass it to. Finds Downing. Downing back to Herman. Herman on the post. Low block. Scores it once again. Herman with really strong play so far for the Spartans early in the going and gets a steal. Julia Herman doing it all for the Spartans right now as Turnus takes the ball up court for the Spartans. Spartans lead early in the going, 8-6, minute and a half left in the quarter. Reach-in foul called on Tatum Downing as the ball was stolen away by number 24, Etchison, for the Bulldogs. Timeout called with 1:19 left in the quarter. As we said, Spartans lead 8-6.
Yeah, kind of to build on what you were saying earlier, Connor, about this collegiate defense. It's kind of impressive. Collegiate currently leading by 2 points, even though they've almost, in fact, they have doubled the amount of turnovers that the Independence Bulldogs have had, which clearly shows that they've just kind of been able to force Independence into making mental errors, fighting for rebounds, just doing a really good job getting the ball back in their advantage without allowing Independence to capitalize on their opportunities.
Yeah, and it's certainly been a scrappy game so far for both teams. Could be categorized as a little bit sloppy early on, but both teams finding a way on offense. Seems like the low post game is going to be the story of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, when it comes to that really kind of puts this game in a bit more into Julia Herman's hands for Collegiate. Just basically the rest of the team on offense just trying to get the ball into her.
Yeah, certainly the way it's going to be now and for the rest of the season for the Spartans, the key is going to be Julia Herman and getting her open on the low block to post up and score. Independence gets the ball in, set, and a charge is called. Kaylee Villagomez takes the charge for the Spartans. Did a good job to stand in there. Foul called on Jones.
Great work by Kaylee Villagomez right there. You would never guess that she is, this is her first year playing basketball.
Herman tripped up as the Spartans tried to get the ball in, stolen away by the Bulldogs. Layup no good. Herman comes down with the rebound. Nearly disaster for the Spartans as they turned it over right against their own goal. Downing now controls the ball for the Spartans, takes it up across half court, picks up the dribble, tries to get into Herman, led her on just a little too much as the ball is turned over back out of bounds, and Dylan Heath is not happy about it for the Spartans.
Yeah, I saw the vision for that play, but it was just no good. That pass, there was no way for Herman to get to that.
Yeah, right idea, Aiden, but certainly too small of a window for that pass to get in. Spartans defending on the perimeter now, man-to-man defense. Shot deflected away, but a foul called on Tatum Downing as Etchison went up for the basket. So far, something to mention for Independence is I haven't seen any substitutions so far this game for the Bulldogs. We certainly talked about how Collegiate's going to be a little bit challenged early in the going with their lack of depth, but so far it's Independence that hasn't used any substitutions.
Yeah, which is definitely interesting, seeing as how later in this game they're really gonna start relying on their depth on bench to kind of utilize their fresh players to take the advantage.
Etchison's first free throw rolls in. Both Villagomez sisters sub out for the Spartans, in is Conrad and Monahan. Second free throw is up and rolls in off the front of the iron. Herman trying to get the ball in. Spartans almost have a breakout as Downing will control the ball now on the right side. Conrad back to Downing.
Collegiate has 20 seconds to do anything with this ball.
Game tied at 8. 15 seconds left in the quarter. Spartans might try to hold for the last possession here. And it looks like an illegal screen is going to be called on the Spartans on the right side of the court. Looks like it was Herman whistled for it. If that's the case, that's her second foul and a big development for the Spartans. 8 seconds now left in the quarter. Independence trying to move quickly. Etchison with the ball on the left side. Etchison dribbles in, gives the ball off, and time expires. Independence never got a look up. The ball was handed off to Jones, but Jones could never get a shot off as the Spartans have this game tied at 8-8 after the first quarter.
Yeah, definitely an interesting start to this game. I know, Connor, you kind of mentioned some silly mental mistakes But one thing that could put Collegiate into a little bit of trouble would be Julia Herman fouling out. Without her, this game is as good as lost, as she has scored all 8 of the first points, with 1 assist, I believe, by Tatum Downing. Without her, although the whole team has been working really well defensively, she is kind of the quintessential point to this Collegiate offense here.
Yeah, so far it's been a balanced scoring attack for Independence, 2 points for 4 different players. And for the Spartans, it's all been concentrated in Julia Herman, who has 8 points so far in the quarter. The key, though, for the Spartans so far is turnovers. As I count them, Aiden, looks like 8 turnovers for the Spartans to the 3 for Independence. That's certainly going to have to be something the Spartans clean up to maybe take command of this game. Even though they're trailing in the turnover category, the Spartans have this game tied up at 8-8. They fought really well on the defensive end, just have to clean up a couple of mistakes, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one thing that just comes with experience for this team. Earlier in the season, hopefully we see a bit of a change for that, especially later in the season, where they don't even have enough depth on their bench to really scrimmage during practice.
Independence with possession. Etchison takes the ball, hands it off to Maddox. Maddox back to Jones, now back to Etchison. Etchison pulls for 3 and gets it. Etchison with a deep 3-pointer for the Bulldogs. Puts them up 11-8 now. Herman handling the ball up the court for the Spartans. Maybe not something they necessarily want to see, but she handles it well and gets the ball across half court. Downing dribbles right, gets it back to Herman. Top of the key. Herman dribbles against her defender, trying to get in. Floater in the lane. Just off to the left. No good. Rebounded by Independence. Independence moving quickly now. 3-on-5 advantage for the Bulldogs. Etchison a 3 once again. Misses off the front of the rim and rebounded by Conrad. Conrad gets it back out to Herman. Herman off to Downing, and the Spartans are going to press a little bit here to move the ball quickly. Ball out to Turnez. Turnez dribbling against the defender, and a reach-in foul is called. Frantic start to the second quarter here for both teams. Independence drains a 3 to go up now 11-8.
Man, it's like a whole fresh start to this game. Much more intense than we saw at the very first quarter of this game.
Downing from mid-range, can't get the shot to fall. Ball taken up the court by Maddox. Gets it over in the corner to Bashir. Back to Maddox as Independence trying to set up a little bit of offense. Back at the top to Spencer. And a foul called away from the ball. Looks like it's going to be on Monahan. He's holding Maddox. Correction, that one's on Conrad.
Collegiate really cannot be affording to make these stupid errors.
And a travel called on Independence. Ball was dropped by Etchison, and the official says she walked with it. Spartans trying to get the ball in, tipped away, but out of bounds. Spartans so far struggling a little bit when picked up in the full court. Something they're going to have to work on to limit some of those turnovers. Ball tipped off the inbounds that time by Bashir. Still Spartan ball. Herman this time is going to be charged with inbounding it. Finally gets the ball to Downing. 2-on-2 break now for the Spartans. Downing dribbling quickly, has to pick it up. Gets it off to Turnez. Turnez pulls the ball back out. Turnez dribbling on the right side, trying to set up a little bit of offense. Now dribbles to the left. Double teamed and passes back out to Downing. Conrad sets a fake screen. Ball passed and picked off once again by Maddox. Another turnover by Downing. Monahan guarding Downing and forces a turnover. Good defense there for the Spartans as the ball's picked up by Turnez and given off to Conrad. Spartans once again trying to set up half-court offense. Downing dribbles to the right, but picked up her dribble too soon and walked with it. Travel called. Just another mental mistake there for the Spartans. Feely checks in for the Bulldogs.
Interesting to see Independence trying to slow it down, looking on the outside.
Ball taken from the free throw stripe. No good. Off the mark that time by Feely, newly into the game. Downing gets pushed in the back a little bit. No call, though. Game continues. Downing takes the ball back out. Dribbling at the top of the key. Nearly tripped up. Gets it off to Herman. And foul finally called that time on Etchison, who seemed to be a little bit out of control that time on the defensive possession.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you put your hands up if you're practically on top of the person.
Kaylee Villagomez checks in for the Spartans.
Collegiate, hopefully we can see some more passing in on this one instead of just passing around and eventually Independence forcing a turnover.
Turnus gets the ball off to Conrad. Conrad has the ball stripped away. Ball out to Maddox, gives it off, and layup attempt no good but recovered. 3 on the way, no good. Rebound once again by Independence and no good. Couple of chances there for Independence to get a good look, and nothing falls, so the Spartans back the other way with it. Still 11-8 for Independence, 4.5 minutes left in the half.
That was definitely Independence's chance to capitalize in a couple different ways.
Herman shoots it from 15 feet and is fouled on the attempt. So she'll go to the line for 2. Foul on Maddox, her first. Herman's first free throw is true. First point so far of the quarter for the Spartans. Score now 11-9. All those 9 points coming from Julia Herman. Spartans starting to look a little bit tired as Turnez and Conrad come out of the game. As another timeout is called, both teams trying to preserve their legs, it seems like, a little bit so far in the going.
Yeah, for sure, especially in the case of Collegiate. It's kind of interesting to see that Independence, I believe, has only had one switch in comparison to Collegiate, who's been routinely switching out their players, trying to preserve them into the late game.
So far, the scoring for Independence has started to center around Etchison, number 24. She's got 5 points on the game already. And Independence now in Collegiate kind of playing the same number on the rotation, it seems like, as both teams employing 7 girls at this point.
It's kind of interesting to see, however, where Independence has the players to employ way more than 7, whereas Collegiate is limited to 7 because that's all they have. Yeah, but definitely as we get back into this game here, we're going to be looking at Collegiate's counter, the full court defense, which they struggled with a ton in this last game, and we're still seeing them having lots of difficulty with in this game.
Out of the timeout, it's Herman back at the line for her second of 2 free throws. And misses off the front of the rim, and rebound goes out to Bashir. Bashir now handling the ball up court for the Spartans. Sorry, for the Bulldogs. Hands it off to Maddox. Out on the right to Feely. Hands it back out. This time to Etchison at the top of the key. Hands it back off Feely down the left. Etchison dribbles hard into the paint. Laid up too much. Gets her own rebound and puts it in. Pure effort scoring that time by Etchison. And Independence now leads 13-9.
Yeah, we're starting to see a bit of a star on the Independence team as well in the case of number 24.
Downing fakes a defender out, puts the ball up short of the rim, though. And the Spartans can't come away with anything in transition. And adding insult to injury, Kaylee Villagomez called for the blocking foul.
Man, that was a great fake right there by Tatum Downing, just absolutely unable to capitalize on it. She had a clear and open goal there. Just went way under into the rim.
Spartans trying to employ a full court press. And the ball gets across half court. And a breakout. Ooh, breakout for the Bulldogs. stymied by a bad pass, and the Spartans catch a break there, as that certainly would have been a layup.
Oh, absolutely. That was far and away. No defender would have been able to get there in time, but lucky break for the Spartans.
Villagomez gets the ball in to Herman. Herman trying to dribble through the press, gets it back to Kaylee Villagomez. Has to get the ball across before the 10 seconds. Ball picked off, though. Up away in transition and laid up and good by Maddox. With a little bit of contact on the play, Spartans might have been lucky to get away with no foul call there as Maddox lays it up and in transition. Spartans have a breakout now. Tatum Downing down the court, puts it up in mid-range and gets it to go. Good transition look for the Spartans, able to break the full court press.
First points for Tatum Downing there as well.
3 on the way, wide open and good. Brooklyn Maddox has the last 5 points for the Bulldogs. Herman with the ball up the court for the Spartans, able to break the press. Herman pressured, defender interface, able to get the ball away to Monahan. Monahan misses a dribble, though, and turns it over. Spartans trying to pressure a little bit here. It's a 2-on-1 down the court, though. Independence set up, and a travel is called on Independence. So once again, Independence had another good look in transition and turned it over on. Spartan defense holds strong in transition, although this game now 18-11 in favor of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, some Bulldogs players, specifically number 5 and 24, have really come out with some high-scoring plays, whereas it still kind of remains Julia Herman.
Spartans can't get the ball in, kicked off of number 14, Lemos, and Lemos gets both a rebound and a score on the putback, as Spartans starting to struggle a little bit here to break the press and get the ball up court. And Dylan Heath is going to call timeout for the Spartans, sensing the shift in the tide. Score 20-11 now with 2:11 left in the half.
Yeah, interesting to see now. Only 2 collegiate players with any scoring points, that being Tatum Downing with 2 and Julia Herman with 9. Whereas on the other hand, Independence has a much wider spread of scoring players with some pretty consistent points.
And once again, like we've been saying, now it's up to 11 turnovers for the Spartans compared to just 5 for the Independence Bulldogs. That's certainly not what the Spartans would like, not even at the end of the half. And it certainly led to at least a couple of points for the Independence Bulldogs.
Yeah, even if Independence isn't going to capitalize every time, if you're going to give them that many opportunities, they're bound to get ahead.
Independence inbounds the ball in the post, kicked back out for 3 once again, rims in and out. Rebound secured, and a foul called on the Spartans. Looks like it might have been on Kaylee Villagomez trying to go for the rebound. Maddox went up for another 3 and nearly drained it. Spartans so far unable to contain the Bulldogs from deep. Villagomez steps in, and a charge is called. Second time that Villagomez has drawn a charge in this game. Solid job by her.
Great work by Kaylee Villagomez right there.
Jones called for the foul, her second. See if Independence decides to keep her in or not. Downing gets the ball at about 3/4 court and is fouled on a block. This foul is going to be on Etchison. And that's her second. So a little bit of foul trouble starting to come into play for the Bulldogs. And the Spartans are into the bonus as Tatum Downing will go to the line. Downing's first free throw rims out. Second free throw on the way. And bounces in off the back iron, so the Spartans get 1. And the score now 20-12, just under 2 minutes left in the half. Independence swinging the ball around the right side. Inside now, post, and good. That time it's Jones with the basket on the low post. Spartans unable to stop the in pass, and it's an easy 2 for the Bulldogs. Conrad trying to get the ball across half court, gives it up to Herman, who's able to get the ball across half court. Downing now. Downing dribbles in, picks up.
Collegiate once
Gives it
again
off.
struggling to get inside the paint.
Downing nearly tripped, and a foul called on the shot. Downing draws another foul and will go to the line for 2. Lemos picks up her 3rd foul, so legitimate foul trouble now for a starter from the Bulldogs. Could be big as this game goes on. First free throw good by Tatum Downing.
Absolutely, and additionally, her being the highest scoring player on the Independence Bulldogs team so far could put them in just a little bit trouble going into the second half of this game.
And shot is good from Downing, so Downing converts both free throws. And the Spartans trail by 8, 22-14. Bashir takes the ball at half court, gives it up to Etchison. Handed back to Maddox. In the post once again to Jones. Jones puts it up, rims out. Rebounded, though, by Independence. Ball shot all the way over the rim and rebounded by Kaylee Villagomez. Ball out to Tatum Downing now.
Once again, solid defense by the Collegiate Spartans right there.
40 seconds left in the half. Downing dribbles to her right, gets into the defense, hands it out to Conrad for 3. No good, off the rim. Ball rebounded by Independence. Independence, fast break situation. Ball put up and good. Lemos gets the goal to go, and Spartans nearly turn it over in the full court press once again.
Only 15 seconds left. This score might stay stagnant as Collegiate has not been able to have a single fast push this entire game so far.
Herman was trying to anticipate the charge on the fast break earlier when that layup was made, but fell a little too quick. Ball turned over in the full court by Monahan and laid up and good, that time by Bashir. Just 3 seconds now left in the half. Ball trickles out, and that will be time for the half. So the Spartans sputter to the end of the half, going into the locker room. The score 26-14 in favor of the Bulldogs.
Man, definitely a game so far full of a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of kind of sloppy playing, especially as we saw in this first quarter. But kind of going into the second quarter here, we just saw a lot better gameplay by a lot of different Independence teams as Collegiate's team has kind of started to lack energy, kind of start falling behind in those sort of ways.
Yeah, and Aiden, it just seems like right now for the Spartans, not a lot of options to go to. So far, the only scoring has been concentrated with Downing and Herman. What do you think the Spartans can do as we go on in the next half to bolster the scoring a little bit, open up a little bit more options, and maybe shy away from those turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things is going to be finding a counter to that full court pressure as Independence has forced a lot of turnovers kind of in the backfield, this entire backcourt, this entire game so far. Additionally, I would suggest kind of trying to diversify their scoring players, trying passing it away, giving some other players the opportunity to shoot. The only reason I wouldn't really emphasize that is a lot of these players don't have a whole lot of experience with contested shots, trying to find their way around this defense as well as Julia Herman or Tatum Downing can. So that kind of forces them to concentrate their offense and Julia Herman. And really, all that can be said is Independence Bulldogs have had a great job defending the paint with everything they have, kind of less focusing on their other players and kind of concentrating where they know the ball is going to go. And that's kind of that outside right corner where they know Tatum Downing and Julia Herman are going to be. So kind of maybe diversifying where they're playing the ball. Definitely going to be up to a little bit Coach Dylan Heath to try and find some way to diversify where that ball is going to be going. If it's not new kind of positioning, anything, to try and just give Independence force them to do a little more guesswork than they are doing right now.
We'll certainly see how the Spartans progress in the second half. We'll take about a 9-minute break and be back to start the second half. The score 26 for the Bulldogs and 14 for the Spartans. Welcome back to the Collegiate Sports Network. Getting ready to start the second half here from Circle High School as the Spartans find themselves down 12 to the Independence Bulldogs, 26-14. Spartans will start off with the ball as Tatum Downing takes it up for the Spartans. Downing dribbles in and immediately picked off by Etchison. Independence moving quickly, ball batted away by Monahan. Good transition defense for the Spartans, preventing the ball into Lemos. Story in the first half for the Spartans was turnovers, as they just gave the ball up too much to Independence. Hand layup is good on the inbounds play to Jones. Quick start to the half for Independence. They now have the Spartans doubled up 28-14. Conrad takes the ball up the court, trying to get it across half, and Downing finally dribbles up. Downing pressured once again by Etchison. Seems like she can't shed the defender. Ball on the court now. Fought for and outlast on Conrad. Spartans couldn't come away with the ball. And another turnover. Etchison takes the three in transition. No good. Kaylee Villagomez comes down with another rebound for the Spartans, her third of the day. Downing dribbling quickly, stops at half court, trying to get around Etchison once again, unable to do so. Ball stolen away once again. This time Jones down the court by herself, lays it up and good. Downing gives it off to Herman. Herman passes it to nobody. Downing was cutting, and the ball is out of bounds off the Spartans. So 2 turnovers already for the Spartans and a 4-0 run for the Independence Bulldogs has the Spartans now down 30-14, just a minute and a half into the second half. Downing comes out of the game for the first time for the Spartans. Etchison goes into the lane, puts it up off the glass, no good. Rebounded, though. Handed back off. Etchison at the top of the key, swings it left. In pass to Jones. Jones pivots, shoots, no good. Another rebound by Independence, no good. Ball deflected away and off of Independence. It was Bashir trying to go for the rebound, and it'll be Spartan ball.
Let's see if Spartan can really get anything going into the second half, especially on offense, trying to break this full-court defense.
One-on-one down the court. Conrad dribbling against Maddox. Spartans pull the ball back out. This time to Herman at the top of the key. Herman dribbling against Jones. Gives it off to Conrad. Conrad for 3. No good. Off the front of the rim. Jones with the rebound. Independence now moving quickly. Etchison fumbles the ball a little bit. Regains possession. Turn is still trying to hound her. Unable to do so, though. Etchison, free lane to the basket. Lays it up and stopped by Herman, who fouls her hard.
Ooh, that was definitely a hard foul against Herman. Once again, still got to watch out for those fouls, especially going later into this game, as Collegiate really is relying on her.
First free throw is good for Etchison. Second free throw up, no good. Rebound contested and brought down and tipped out of bounds off the Spartans as Kaylee Villagomez was the last to touch it. Lemos and her fighting for the ball underneath. Independence gets the ball in. Ball passed out to Maddox. Swung back. Now Bashir into Jones in the post once again. Jones puts it in.
Jones quickly becoming the number 1 scorer for the Independence Bulldogs here.
Seems like Independence doing what Collegiate wants to, getting the ball to the low post, able to take advantage of a little bit of a size and height advantage. Ball is tied up just near half court as Conrad fell to the floor. And possession arrow favoring the Bulldogs. They'll get it back. Ball passed inside, And a travel called that time. Etchison walked. So Spartans struggling to get going here. Going to try to use this possession to get some kind of momentum in their favor. As a big run to start the half has Independence up 33-14. Ball tipped out of bounds on Independence. Spartans retain possession. Turn is now with the ball, taking it up court. Dribbling against Etchison. Etchison still guarding her hard. Tries to give the ball up, but Etchison was right there, picked it off. Ball tipped out. Independence, quick run, foul and one. Lemos. Foul on Turnes as she tried to contest the transition layup, but to no avail, as it's going to be a foul plus the 2 points on the basket. So Lemos will go to the line trying to convert the N1.
Independence Bulldogs really with all the momentum going into this second half as this score starts to get just a little ugly.
Free throw miss. Lemos got her own rebound somehow. Tried to put it back up. Couldn't come up with it, and Herman comes down with the rebound and is fouled in the process. Looks like the foul's going to be called on Bashir. Independence still on a 9-0 run to start the quarter. Spartans trying to get any kind of stop they can. Downing back into the game for the Spartans, handling the ball up court. Downing this time is stripped of the ball, and foul called on Monahan as she tried to get it back and ran into Bashir. Pressure defense really giving the Spartans trouble so far at the start of the second half. Maddox takes the ball up this time for the Bulldogs. Hands it off to Etchison. Etchison fakes the handoff, pass into Jones. Back out to Etchison. Etchison thought about it, instead decides to dribble in. Handoff to Jones at the low block. No good. Rebound ripped down by Monahan, but stolen away. And Lemos went up with it and was fouled.
Man, what a physical play right there. Monahan just could not keep control of that ball as she was taken over the court trying to recover it.
Yeah, not much Monahan could do there. It was basically ripped to the ground as the ball was taken away from her. Not saying it was a foul. I don't know if it was, but just really physical down low right now. Free throw no good by Lemos. She's struggled from the line a little bit today. Second free throw is up. High arcing shot. Good. Ball tipped out of bounds once again as Independence picks up the Spartans at full court. Is giving them pressure.
In order for Collegiate to score here, they at least have to get on the other side of the court.
Yeah, Aiden, we saw troubles with this last year as the Spartans were able to get the ball up court. We saw problems with this last year where the Spartans just couldn't pick up the full court press well and turn the ball over. Shot up by Herman, no good, almost brought down by Downing, but instead rebound ripped away. Ball contested now, and it's a 3-on-0 break for Independence. Layup is no good. Scorched the layup. Rebound, though, second chance fouled. It's Jones. Bashir couldn't come away with the open transition layup, but the ball was rebounded by Jones, and it seems like that's been another one of the problems for the Spartans. Just can't limit Independence to one chance.
Absolutely, especially because Independence has been making a lot of mental mistakes for themselves. As the first free throw is no good, but they just have been making all kinds of mental mistakes for themselves that Collegiate really can't capitalize on as they've continuously gotten the second chance.
Second free throw no good, so both free throws missed by Independence. Monahan trying to take the ball up the court for the Spartans. And I think she dribbled it out of bounds. Indeed, she did, so another turnover for the Spartans as they fail once again to get the ball across half court. Ball passed in and taken back out by Etchison. Etchison now dribbling to her left, reverses up in the lane, and good. Nice do-it-yourself possession there for Etchison. Gets her another two. Score now 38-14 and a 12-0 run to start the half for the Independence Bulldogs. Downing struggling to get the ball across half court. Finally finds Turnez. Turnez still being hounded by Etchison. Gives the ball off to Downing. Downing stops, shoots, no good off the front of the iron. And the Spartans come up short once again. Independence moving quickly down the court. Maddox with the ball. Tries to hand it off. Turns it over. Villa Gomez up the court and dribbles it off her leg. And another costly turnover for the Spartans, as they had a fast break opportunity, but Villa Gomez dribbled it off her leg.
Man, just another ball handling issue, which is another thing Collegiate has really struggled with so far this year. Keeping the ball under their control even when they get kind of a breakaway situation.
Herman comes away with a block. Good contest there on Lemos, who tried to get to the rim once again. Ball out of bounds off Herman, so Independence will keep possession under the rim. .224 now left. Lemos puts it up for mid-range. No good. High arcing shot off the back of the rim. Spartans trying to come away with the ball and out of bounds off the Spartans. Downing was trying to get in the passing lane. Ball in, nearly tied up by the Spartans. Instead, a foul is going to be called, likely on Conrad this time, as Downing looked like she had it tied up. But instead, Spencer was able to tear the ball away. So it'll be Spencer going to the line now. First free throw is short.
Spencer's really struggled with making any kind of points this game so far.
Spencer gets it to go. I believe that's her first point on the game on the second free throw. Downing now moving the ball up court.
Still trying to find any kind of opportunity to get it inside the paint.
Downing dribbles the ball across the right side, gives it off to Herman. Herman to Conrad, and Conrad called for the travel on the Spartans. .14th turnover on the game for the Spartans. And Etchison now takes the ball up the court for the Bulldogs. Etchison decides to shoot it, and off the mark from three. Rebound, though, secured. And up with it, Spencer gets it to go. Minute and a half now left in the third quarter. Spartans trail 41-14. Still without a point this half. Downing goes down with the ball, and travel's going to be called. Downing once again getting caught in trouble picking up the dribble.
Yeah, absolutely. This Independence defense has just been hounding Collegiate all over the court today, not giving them any kind of opportunities anywhere on the court.
Lemos dribbles on the baseline. Hands off. No good by Etchison, and rebound is good by Spencer. Spencer starting to assert a little bit of dominance in this game. 5 points now for her. Conrad picks up her dribble, gets it to Monahan. Spartans still fighting to get the ball across half court. They finally do. Monahan, though, easily stripped away by Lemos. Lemos up the court all alone, gets the layup to go. Looks like fatigue starting to set in for the Spartans. You can certainly see a little bit of tiredness and frustration starting to set in, as they've still yet to score this quarter. Score 45-14 with 30 seconds left in the quarter.
Especially seeing as how Turnez has not been played since the first half of this game. I believe looked kind of like a little bit of limping going out into this halftime. So definitely hoping she's good for the rest of the season, as Collegiate has already had one injured player and has really been struggling with finding any kind of depth. Losing her would be detrimental to this team.
And seems like a little bit of a mix-up here from the officiating table. As Collegiate was not given the ball on the inbounds play. And now they will resume possession. Downing with the ball at the top of the key. Hounded once again by Etchison. Downing trying to get out of it. Spartans just clustered around her. No help being afforded. And a 5-second pressure is going to be called another turnover, as Tatum Downing unable to get the ball away after being guarded for 5 seconds.
Yeah, really nothing she could do there. Number 24 absolutely hounding her. No way for her to get out of that one, it almost seemed.
Ball tipped away but couldn't be stolen, and a reach-in foul is going to be called on the Spartans. And I believe this is going to send Independence to the line, and indeed it will. Looks like it'll be number 11, Feely. First free throw is good.
This is for her first points of the game as well.
Second free throw up off the back iron and rebounded by Monahan. Monahan dribbling the ball up the court. Ball tipped and out of bounds off Independence. Seems like Monahan so far has struggled to handle the ball a little bit in the half court. Dribbling the ball a little bit high certainly has allowed Independence to get a couple of takeaways. Monahan trying to get the ball in, and the ball goes out of bounds, trying to look for Chloe Villagomez.
Yeah, Monahan definitely one of Collegiate's stronger players, especially in that last game of the season. But today, really struggling to fight against this Independence defense.
That brings an end to the third quarter, as the score now runs 46-14 in favor of the Independence Bulldogs, as they went on a 20-0 scoring run against the Spartans. Certainly a tough quarter for Wichita Collegiate. At this point, certainly just have to try to work on a couple of things to move into next game.
Absolutely, at this point, all they can really do is try and work towards the next game. Kind of reflecting on what's happened so far this game, we've definitely seen a continuation of the theme of how other teams have been utilizing the full court pressure and Collegiate's kind of lack of ball handling against Collegiate's favor, which is something they definitely need to work on going into the rest of this season if they want to have any kind of success.
Yeah, Aid, not a lot more to be said really on that vein. Spartans, it just seems like, have put up a good fight when the game starts and then just kind of run out of steam for the most part when the game continues on.
Absolutely, and it's kind of interesting to see, especially how Independence has so many more players on their bench and equipped for their team. However, they've only played the same amount of players. I don't think I've seen number 5, number 24 come off this court at all this game. And they just have a different kind of energy than Collegiate throughout this entire game.
Yeah, you certainly feel like size is a bit of an issue as well for the Spartans. Certainly outmatched in that aspect by Independence today. Certainly not all of it, though. It seems like at times they've just kind of run out of the building. It seems like as far as ball handling goes for the Spartans, a lot of picking up dribbles, allowing Independence to pressure them. It seems like Etchison a lot in this game has just been on Tatum Downing the whole entire game.
Absolutely.
Ball passed into Lemos and good off the glass. The run continues for Independence now 22-0. Downing picks up the ball, hands it off to Herman. Now out in the right corner to Turnez. Gets it off to Downing. Downing dribbling to the baseline. Ball hit and off of Lemos, out of bounds.
Collegiate getting closer than they have so far this half on offense, still getting absolutely hounded around the circle here, just unable to find any kind of opportunities.
Downing gets the ball into Chloe Villagomez. Villagomez gets it back to Downing, pressured by Bashir. Downing jump stop, gives it off to Turnez. Turnez on the low block, kicks it back out to Downing. Downing pressured once again by Bashir. Turnez dribbling around the arc. Villagomez tried to cut, was stopped. Instead, she'll get the ball on the perimeter, and a foul call, to block this time on Feely. Six minutes now left in the game. Herman gets the ball at the top of the key, hands it back off to Downing. Downing, high dribble, has to pick it up, gives it off to Kaylee Villagomez. Three attempt by Turnez, almost goes in, just in and out. That one looked like it was good from Turnez, but not to be. Rebounded out now to the Bulldogs. Ball out to Bashir now. Dribbling towards the top of the key, gets it back to Feely. Feely dribbling against the defender, puts it up at the free throw line, no good. Rebound taken in and put back up and good. That time it was Spencer. Spencer has dominated the offensive glass so far in this half for the Bulldogs and has come away with a considerable amount of points to boot.
Absolutely. Goes into this half with the 0 points and is currently at 7.
Good cut and in pass into Julia Herman. Finally stops the bleeding for the Spartans as they get their first points of the half. Score now 50-16. Independence now down the other side of the court. Maddox picks up her dribble, gives it back to Thiele, and Thiele called for the walk. So turnover.
Their first turnover of this half. Clearly, Collegiate has stopped some kind of momentum coming from the Independence Bulldogs, but it may have stopped just a bit too late here.
Downing and Turnez check out for the Spartans. Monahan in possession of the ball, tries to get the pass away, and another turnover on the Spartans as Chloe Villagomez couldn't secure the pass. Just 4 minutes now left in this game. Score still 50-60 in favor of Independence. Ely on the other side of the court, no good. Missed everything. Good shot contest that time by Conrad. Conrad now with the ball, taking it up the other side of the court. Dribbling against defender. Picks it up, trying to get it to Monahan. Ball tipped away and taken by Lemos. Once again, Lemos has a free pass to the basket, lays it up and in.
Lemos out of nowhere has become Independence now new top scorer.
Monahan trying to take the ball up the court for the Spartans. Had it hit away once again, and it's out of bounds off of her. So Independence ball. Certainly has been a struggle so far in the second half for the Spartans. Haven't gotten a lot going. A lot of turnovers as well. Seems like fatigue really starting to set in for the Spartans late in this going.
Especially, definitely hard to find the motivation here to keep fighting.
Spencer's shot was off the top of the backboard, but the ball's rebounded out once again. Bashir refused to take the three on the putback. Now Thiele on the top of the key, hands it back off to Maddox. Maddox inside to Lemos. Lemos blocked by Herman, but a foul's called.
That'll be Julia Herman's 4th personal foul of this game.
Free throws up and good. Lemos gets it to go. Limo's second free throw on the right way, and no good. The clock has started to run on all dead ball possessions. Ball turned over once again by the Spartans and put back up and in by Spencer. So clock starting to run. Minute 40 left in this game. And as is often the story in these games, not a lot left to play for the Spartans, but certainly can work on getting a couple of possessions, get something on offense to make you feel good about it. And another turnover on the Spartans, Conrad that time.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this game here is going to be ball handling from Collegiate. They've had so many turnovers just from poor ball handling, bad passes, just really silly mental errors made either from inexperience or size. Makes it hard to win these games.
Spencer on the low block gets it to go. What's contributing to a great second half for her in this game. Downing down the right side. Monahan sets a screen, gets it out to Conrad. Conrad hands it back to Downing. Downing picks up the dribble, gets it back to Conrad now. Conrad dribbling along the right side. Spartans trying to rotate, looking a little bit lost on offense. Back to Downing. Spartans trying to reset, looking a little bit scuttled on offense. Ball hit away and contested for on the floor, and it's going to be a jump ball, possession arrow favoring the Spartans. Just 20 seconds left in this game as the clock continues to run, so maybe one last chance for a shot for the Spartans to get something going. They've only scored 2 points in this half. Downing kicks it out to Turnez. 7 seconds left on the clock. Out to Conrad. Conrad picks up her dribble, tries to pass it to Villagomez, and it hits the ref and bounces out of bounds. And that will end the game as a difficult second half for the Spartans results in a loss at the hands of the Independence Bulldogs, 57-16. That will move Independence to 2-2 on the season, and the Spartans to 0-3.
Yeah, just a really tough day for Collegiate out here. The word of the day really being turnovers, as the turnovers were just absolutely insane coming from this Collegiate team, as they were managing to do a lot of things on defense, especially early in this game. But as turnovers mounted and they were forced all over the court, fatigue set in, and it was just impossible to come back.
Yeah, Aiden, 25 turnovers on the night for the Spartans, and only 16 points scored, and the only scorers on the game were Julia Herman with 11 and Tatum Downing with 5. Certainly the Spartans are going to have to work to vary that offensive attack a little bit and just simply take care of the ball.
Absolutely. You know, we saw a lot of promising things coming out of Thursday's game, a lot of great ball handling, a lot of great strategic effort coming from the Spartans, just great defense by Lamette County, but here we kind of saw none of that coming out of here without Lanely Overman and without Maddie Turness in this second half. It just seems like Collegiate really had nothing to fight for.
Yeah, like you said, Aiden, it seems like depth once again is a problem for the Spartans. Just kind of ran out of steam in the second half. Independence came out looking like the much better team, it seemed like, in the second half. Certainly a lot of fight in the Spartan team, but just not quite there yet. You can certainly see Coach Heath in his second season, a lot of effort going into it. Certainly still a work in progress, though, for the Spartans as they drop this one to Independence. And with that, we'll conclude our broadcast of the girls' game. We'll take about a 15 to 20-minute break and be back for the boys' basketball game between the Wichita Collegiate Spartans and the Independence Bullpups. Hello and welcome back to the Collegiate Sports Network. Getting ready to start the second game here of our doubleheader. This time it's the boys basketball team going up against the Independence Bulldogs. Boys basketball team coming off a win over Labette County on Thursday night. As the Spartans move to 1-1, they're facing off against a 1-2 Independence team that started off their season a little bit rocky, but seems to have found their footing a little bit. Aiden, what are you looking for from this Spartan team, and what were your main takeaways from last game? What can they improve on?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with my takeaways, just seeing as how I saw a big contrast between this collegiate team this year and this collegiate team last year, and how they were able to kind of diversify the playing field. Last year we saw a lot of big players scoring a lot of big points, and then the rest of the team was kind of used to facilitate those big players. But those big players being Jaden and Seabass and AJ. But this year, seeing as how Seabass and Jaden are both out of the picture, at least for now, the rest of the team has really kind of stood up and started taking to filling those big gaps. So one of the things that I saw last game was not a lot of centralized scoring around just one player, but instead a lot of the team putting a lot of faith and kind of diversifying who they were passing to, how they were defending the ball. Especially we saw David Chege, somebody who doesn't get get the most playing time out of anybody on the team, was put up against probably the best player on the other team, and he defended expertly. He really put himself on the line there just to try and stop him as much as possible, and the rest of the team really supported him there. So that's the biggest thing that I've seen in this collegiate team this year, is a trust amongst their players. Kind of looking into this game, I really do want to see a continuation of that. But another thing I want to see is, we saw them come into that last game heavy. I mean, they were running. They, I believe, had 21 to 4 or 6 points, I believe. They absolutely just came out of that gate swinging. But after that point, after that first quarter, we just kind of saw a stagnant, just kind of lazy playing from the Collegiate Spartans for the rest of the game. It's like as soon as they saw that they were up, they fought hard enough to stay up, but not any harder than necessary. So something I'd like to see from them is to fight hard throughout this entire game. Because, when it comes to this later season, especially when they get to the point in the finals where they were knocked out last year, they're going to have that will, have to have that fight to continue playing their hardest, their best through the entire game. And that's something that we just didn't see in this last game, and something I definitely think that Collegiate's going to have to do in this game.
Yeah, and it'll certainly be interesting to see how the Spartans battle through adversity. It certainly seems like this Independence team's a little bit better maybe than the Labette County team that the Spartans were able to overcome on Thursday night. And it's like you said, last season the Spartans certainly were challenged a little bit at times when they got into close games. We saw it at state with the Spartans. We certainly saw it with the Spartans that they were unable to kind of battle through adversity at times, especially once they got to state. They were unable to overcome a couple of turnovers at times in state. They got into close games and they kind of seized up, kind of stopped playing their game, got a little bit nervous, and now it's going to be, can the Spartans really kind of battle through a little bit better this season, facing really what might be the most adversity, though, they've seen in a while, without their two best scorers, and Sebastian Hines-Turner and Jaden Parker. So certainly going to be interesting to see how they continue to battle with that until we get to the Christmas break when those two are expected to be back.
Yeah, it's really in these kind of more challenging types of games that we see whether or not Collegiate has changed as a team, whether or not Collegiate has evolved as a team from last year. Because I think that's what we all want to see, is this team not staying stagnantly good, which there's no doubt in anybody's minds that Collegiate is a good team. But what we want to see is them getting better. We want them to be able to overcome when they get faced by a challenge. We want to see them play better than they ever have, rather than getting seized up and not playing as well as they have. So I think that's definitely one thing to definitely keep an eye out for going into this next game.
David Chege early in the going this season certainly getting a lot more minutes than he did last year. Aiden, certainly seems like he's been a good impact player on defense for the team.
Absolutely. You know, we talked about him a lot in this last game and what he was able to do. Coach Fiegel definitely using him very strategically here. Less on offense, as Collegiate has a lot of great offensive players, but more using him on defense. He had some amazing blocks this last game. Definitely a lot to look forward to in the case of Collegiate defense in regards to him going into this next season.
And finally, Asa Ahmad gets announced into the game. He'll start at point guard for the Spartans. Not a guy that scores a lot of points, but certainly is a guy that can control an offense and really is a calming presence for this team.
Absolutely. I think in the way of playmakers go, there is nobody more prevalent than Asa Ahmad on this team. Asa Ahmad's the one that he is great at controlling the pace of the game. He's great at facilitating other players to score. And, you know, Collegiate has a lot of high-scoring players. They have high-scoring players coming out of their entire bench, but what they need is players like Asa Ahmad who can control the pace of the game and facilitate other players.
Both teams are back to their bench, and we're getting ready to tip off here from Circle High School in Towanda, Kansas. It'll be David Chege at the center for the Spartans as he'll jump ball. Independence coming out with a pretty small lineup in this game. Their tallest player listed as 6'2". And that's number 1, McCoy Bride, who will tip. Tip is up and away, and McBride gets it for the Bulldogs. Taking up the point is Julian. Julian dribbles down to his right, hands the ball off to Gregory. Gregory back to Julian.
Bulldogs are going to want to try and take any kind of early advantages they can get here.
Bulldogs are working for a back cut, but stolen this time by Batiste. Batiste, quick in transition, tries to lay it up, but no good. Foul called.
Great work by Batiste there, stripping the ball and making his way back.
Foul called on Julian. Batiste will go to the line for 2 free throws. First one is up and good. A.J. Batiste so far for the Spartans has been the key offensive player, averaging up over 20 points a game so far. Second free throw is up and bounces off the front, no good. Rebounded by Julian. Ball kicked out to Bunyard. Bunyard trying to get across half court. Ahmad steals it away. Spartans in transition. Ahmad passes it to Batiste. No look pass, layup, no good. Just a little too strong there. Ball rebounded out this time out to Chege. Batiste slows it down on the right side of the court. Passes back out to Ahmad at the top of the key. Swings it back to the right side. Now down into the post to Chege. Chege left it out there just a little too long. Batiste for 3 gets it to go.
Collegiate having a lot more luck on defense rather than on offense, but still getting all kinds of opportunities.
And that second press that Coach Fiegel likes to use so much already paying dividends for the Spartans. Bulldogs able to break the press this time. Bunyard has the ball at the top of the key, hands it off to Lanning. Lanning kicks it back into Julian. Julian just missed the layup. Spartans moving quickly once again. Shackelford down the court to Batiste. Batiste, Euro step, no good. Shackelford on the rebound, gets it to go. Great follow-up by James Shackelford there, and the Spartans are out to a quick 6-0 lead. Independence now struggling to get the ball across half court, finally able to. Down the left side, still dribbling into the defense. Pass back out to Bride. Julian in the lane gives it back up to Bride. Bride just misses it off the back iron, had no one around him. Rebound, though, taken in and missed once again. And rebound taken in by Chege, and a tie-up is called as David Chege was unable to completely secure the rebound. So Spartans certainly gave Independence their opportunities from in close, but a missed look from Bride and Gregory gives the ball back to the Spartans as the possession arrow favors them.
I think I counted 4 chances for Independence Bulldogs to score there. None were capitalized on. That's definitely something that's going to come back to bite them.
Spartans with a couple of long passes along the perimeter. Ahmad kicks it in the corner to Batiste. Batiste drives the baseline, goes up, and is blocked, but another foul is called, this time on Bride as he tried to contest Batiste at the rim.
Batiste having a little bit of trouble in the paint today as this is his second foul on him. Independence very clearly scared of what he can do once he gets confidently in the paint and it kind of starts to take away the ball with him.
Grace and Raspberry will check into the game for the Spartans as Batiste misses his first free throw. He'll have a chance to convert here on the second one. Shot up, no good, off the front of the rim, and rebound out to Julian. Bulldogs moving quickly, ball deflected off of Jack Grace and out of bounds. It was Bunyard moving up quickly that time with the ball, and Independence will inbound from under the basket. Bulldogs able to get the ball in, ball in the left corner. Julian takes the three, no good, short. Julian follows his own shot, though, lays it back up, no good. Tips drill on the fourth attempt as the ball is alternating sides of the rim for Independence, gets it to go. Julian gets it to go. Batiste in transition gets it to go for the Spartans as offense moving quickly, and a timeout called by Independence. Their coach not happy with the letdown there in transition.
Absolutely. You know, collegiate defense really kind of struggling to catch that rebound there as the ball was transferred over, as you said, 4 times before they finally got it in there. Collegiate defense, if they can capitalize on that sort of a thing, they might control Independence scoring for the rest of this game. As Collegiate now leads 8-2, scoring mostly centered around right now AJ Batiste with 6 points, and when he on the one that he wasn't able to put in, James Shackelford really clutched up and scored his own 2 points.
Drumright checks into the game for the Spartans. Pass into Julian, kicks it back out quickly that time to Gregory. Gregory now to Lanning. Lanning was fouled reaching that time on Shackelford. Game moving quickly so far, 8-2 for the Spartans. Big story so far has been, once again, AJ Batiste already has 6 points in this game. Gregory at the top of the key, gives it back to Lanning. Lanning dribbles all the way around the perimeter, gives it up to Julian, and a travel is called. And luckily so for the Spartans, as Bunyard had the ball right in the post and looked like he was going to have an easy layup. Ahmad gets it cross court to Raspberry. Raspberry dribbling the baseline, has 2 defenders against him, gives it back up to Ahmad. Back to Grace, swings it around the key. This time Drumright, back to Grace. Grace, top of the key, fakes the shot, pass to Weta. Helter-skelter possession there for the Spartans. Broken up, finally stolen, and stolen back now by the Spartans. Drumright gets it off to Weta. The handoff shot good by Weta. Solid layup in transition. Bit of chaos there for the Spartans, but finally able to get something going as Brett Weta puts it in for 2. Independence trying to move up quickly. Ball picked off by Jack Grace, trying to move it up court to Weta. Too tight of a window. Weta comes back with it, though. Weta, follow-up attempt, no good. Comes down with his own rebound again. Grace for 3, good.
Great teamwork there. Jack Grace, way to capitalize on that with a 3-pointer.
Jack Grace with a great follow-up play that was kept alive by Brett Weta, and Independence's coach has seen enough already, calling his second timeout of the game, as the Spartans right now are just out-hustling the Bulldogs.
Man, Collegiate showing the same kind of promise they did in the first quarter of their last game at home, starting out 13-2. Just great work by Collegiate all the way so far. Not a lot to say that they could be doing better, really. You know, whenever they're having any sorts of shortcoming, any misses on offense, the rest of the team is quick to pick it up. As we saw, Independence defense kind of trying to anticipate when they're coming into the paint, focusing in on around the goal, expecting what Collegiate is going to do. But Collegiate has been doing a great job of mitigating that anticipation with making 2 of their own threes in the case of Jack Grace and AJ Batiste.
Yeah, Aiden, right now it's really good team play by the Spartans, both on offense and defense. On defense, they're doing a really good job to switch off on players that are getting to the inside and cutting, not allowing Independence to get any easy looks from inside. And on offense, it's a really balanced attack, it seems like, on the boards and in the scoring and the passing. Julian gets the ball, hands it back off to Bunyard. Bunyard dribbling up court, and foul called on Asa Ahmad, tripping that time. Bunyard took a hard fall to the court.
Number 20, Bunyard, taking all kind of fouls so far in this game, as he's kind of outsized by most of the collegiate team, even though he's the one typically pushing the ball up the court.
A little bit of confusion over at the table, as it looks like Fiegel and Smith having a little bit of back-to-back, the two coaches for each side. Looks like the problem is resolved, and we'll get back to play. Lanning with the ball now on the right side. Gives it back up to Julian. Julian kicks it to Bunyard. Bunyard dribbles in against three defenders, stripped away by Asa Ahmad. Spartans moving up in transition. Ahmad kicks it to Grace. Grace thought about the three, and he traveled with it. He left the ground.
Man, too bad. That was amazing defensive work by Asa. He saw that play. He saw number 20. He tried that on the very last drive. Asa anticipated where he was going and took that ball right from out of his arms.
Grace checks out of the game for Batiste. Double team in the backcourt for the Spartans. Julian finally gets it up court past the timeline. Quick pass into Bride, and good on the layup. Good transition break there for Independence as they broke the press. Score now 13-4 in favor of the Spartans. 3.5 minutes left in the quarter. Raspberry handling the point for the Spartans. Tries to dribble to his right, is stopped. Gives it back to Drumright on the left. Kick to Weta. Weta dribbling the baseline. Tries to give it up to Drumright. Instead, the ball trickles to Batiste. Batiste cuts his way all the way into the lane and lays it up, and good. Quick pass down court. 2-on-2 now for Independence. Raspberry able to stop him in transition. Open look, though, from the field, and it is good by Veal. Spartans moving back up the court. Batiste with the ball. Hands it off to Drumright in the right corner. Swung back to Raspberry at the top of the key. Raspberry cuts into the lane, dribbles to the baseline, is double teamed, gives it up to Drumright, who cuts in and lays it up. Great motion there for the Spartans, getting a good cut to the basket by Carter Drumright after the double team.
Another example of great teamwork by that team.
Raspberry picks off the pass in the open court, and Ahmad will now control the point for the Spartans, who are firing on all cylinders right now. Raspberry from the right wing, looking for someone, finds Weta. Weta pulls the ball back out. Tries to cross up his defender, instead gives it back up to Raspberry. Raspberry, fade away, in and out. Rebound fought for underneath. Ball still contested, tipped out, and finally Independence ball. Julian takes the ball, cutting into the lane, and a blocking foul called on Asa Ahmad. As Julian went up for the shot, he'll go to the line for 2 free throws.
Yeah, got too close to, but tried to draw the charge right there, excuse me.
Score 17-6 now for the Spartans, as Julian is going to the line shooting 2. First free throw clanks off the front of the rim. Couple of substitutions for each side. Be 3 new players in for the Spartans. It's Grace, Shackelford, and Chege. Second free throw up and no good. Rattles off, and rebound by David Chege. Kicks it to Grace as the Spartans are going to move quick down the court once again. Grace hands it off to Chege. Chege bowls his way into the paint. No call as bodies went flying. Turnover for the Spartans. Ball back to Bunyard. Bunyard tries to get it to Julian, but Carter Drumright gets in the passing lane.
Collegiate still showing expert work on defense here.
Bunyard barely able to come away with the pass there from the inbounds. Lanning now at the top of the key, heavily defended by Shackelford. Shackelford with hands up, forces the pass to Bunyard. Bunyard dribbling down the baseline, hands it back to Lanning, now out to Julian. 1 minute 20 left in the quarter. Julian dribbling against Batiste. Goes behind the back, puts up the shot from the right wing and hits.
Great
Good shot
move
by Julian. Jack Grace down along the right side of the court, hands it off to Shackelford, swinging around the perimeter to Carter Drumright. Drumright trying to cross up a defender, cuts his way into the lane. Shot contested and a foul called on the shot. Carter Drumright going to the line for 2. Good job by Drumright to cut into the lane, force the contest, and force the foul with it. Drumright, first free throw, up and good. Smooth free throw shot there by Drumright.
Absolutely. He's a player who's kind of been known to have some amazing handles on the ball all day so far.
Second one rims out and rebound brought down by Bride. Bride down the right side, contested by Shackelford in transition. Double team now with Batiste. Ball cut in though. Look is no good. Second look no good, as Independence unable to come away with anything after a couple of good looks and cuts. Spartans now moving quickly back down the court. Drumright blocking foul called as he tried to get into the lane. This one's going to be called on Bunyard, I believe.
Once again, Independence showing they had a great opportunity to score their open shot. Still couldn't capitalize on the second look, and Collegiate able to pick up the rebound. I think we're going to see a lot of that throughout this game.
Raspberry will check in for Drumright, and it looks like Dye is going to come in for the Bulldogs in place of Bride. Shackelford looking for someone on the inbounds play, finds Chege. Shackelford hands it out to Batiste, open 3, no good, just a little hard. And ball rebounded out this time to Gregory. Ball taken back up the court now by Bunyard. Pass out to Lanning on the left side, drives into the lane and fouled by Chege as he went up with it. Lanning will go to the line for 2. 18.5 seconds now left in the third quarter. Sorry, the first quarter.
First quarter. Chege once again trying to go up for that block there, as he's known to be more of a physical player, picking up his fair share of fouls, especially in that first home game of the season.
First free throw misses off the back iron for Lanning. Second free throw also misses off the back iron. Lanning just didn't have it dialed in that time. Shackelford rebounds it. Batiste down the other side of the court and gets it to go in a transition look. Great look down the court by Shackelford and a great finish by Batiste. Independence that time gets the ball down the court once again, and Gregory gets it to go. Spartans try to get one away at the end of the buzzer, no good by A.J. Batiste, as a frantic first quarter comes to an end with the Spartans leading 20-10.
Man, A.J. Batiste there, blink and you will miss it. He just takes those getaways and scores, capitalizes every single time. But I think the one thing to look at for going into the rest of this game will be how Independence is having so many open looks and just missing them. They're just missing them, and then they're getting second looks, third looks, sometimes even fourth looks without Collegiate able to pick up the rebound, and oftentimes they are just not capitalizing whatsoever. So I think what this game is really going to come down to is whether Independence is going to start capitalizing earlier, or if Collegiate's defense is just going to keep being able to get those rebounds and turn it back on their head.
Yeah, and it seems like the Spartans have really dominated most facets of this game except for the defensive glass. They haven't been able to rebound that well on follow-up attempts, and it's allowed Independence to get a couple of really good looks in close. There were a couple of possessions that they had as many as 3 chances right point-blank range at the basket and were just unable to convert.
Absolutely, and you know, at this point, this is kind of what we predicted what happened. We know Collegiate can come out into this game absolutely firing on all cylinders, and that's exactly what they've done. But what they have to do now is continue it. You know, they're leading by 10 points, but at the end of the day, in only the second quarter of this game, that's only 10 points. What they're going to need to do is to continue this trend, and not just continue the trend, but actually improve, working on rebounds, working on defense as well.
Julian controls the point for the Bulldogs as they move the ball up the court. Pass nearly stolen away by Raspberry, not quite though. Ball passed in the Lanning. Lanning heavily contested, no good. Fight for the rebound, Shackelford. Sorry, that's Raspberry. Raspberry tackled to the floor with Bride. They went down together with the ball, and jump ball's called, I believe, as the Spartans come away with it. Raspberry dribbles right into the lane. Mid-range floater, no good. Comes down with his own rebound. Ball back to Chege now on a second chance. Chege rolls in. Soft touch by David Chege gets it to go on a third attempt.
Great job by Chege there, and Robbie Raspberry picking up his own rebound after taking a free shot floater.
Julian now down the right side of the court. Jack Grace hounding him. And a great block by David Chege on the in pass to Veal. And a foul is going to be called down the other side of the court as Shackelford tried to get the pass in.
Great block by Chege there. Absolutely monstrous defense. We know that's what he's looking for to do on every play, and he really did it well there.
Seemed like Veal had an easy cut to the basket, and Chege just sent it back. Shackelford now at the top of the key for the Spartans, controlling the point. Gets it to Grace on the right wing. Weta dribbles in, passes out to Batiste in the right corner. Back to Shackelford. Opposite side of the court to Raspberry. Spartans moving around the perimeter quickly. Raspberry, open three on the left corner, no good. Shackelford tried to pursue the rebound, couldn't come down with it. Instead, it's Julian. Julian dribbling against Batiste, finds himself double-teamed. Gets the pass off this time to Gregory. Gregory tries to get it to Lanning, but Shackelford in the passing lane deflects it out of bounds.
I like to see this aggressive gameplay by Collegiate here. Clearly, they have lost zero steam coming out of this first quarter, going into here with some really great aggressive defense.
Simon checks into the game for the Spartans. Lanning open three from the right wing, no good. Shackelford rips down the rebound.
Good rebounds by Collegiate.
Shackelford was able to come down with the rebound in a crowd of two. Drumright can't get the fadeaway layup to go, but Batiste follows it up with the putback. 24-10 now runs the score in favor of the Spartans. 6 minutes left in the half. Julian, quick trigger three, no good. And rebound out to Simon. Simon, quick pass down court to Shackelford. A little bit scary there for the Spartans. Able to corral it. Drumright back into Batiste, and the layup is good. And once again, Brad Smith has seen enough from the Independence Bulldogs.
Oh my gosh. A.J. Batiste single-handedly scoring more than the entire Independence team with 14 of his own points. Doing an amazing job on these layups so far, and I believe with one successful three. All around, he's just been really accurate, and not only his own plays, but predicting where that ball is going to go and recovering his own players' missed shots.
Yeah, as we said, Aiden, it seems like Spartans really kind of firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and something I talked about before this game and at the quarter is how Collegiate was going to improve throughout the game rather than staying stagnant, and they've done exactly that. We saw some great some great rebounds there by Collegiate on some missed threes by Independence. Just absolutely dominated and recovered by Collegiate.
Yeah, and once again, it's been the follow-ups and fast break looks for the Spartans as well. It seems like anytime they miss anything in transition, they've got someone following it right up on the glass, able to lay it back in for another two. That was the third charge timeout that time on Brad Smith and Independence. Already starting to burn timeouts, trying to stymie a little bit of the Spartan run as they have it up to 26-10 early in the second quarter. Lanning tries to get the ball in, finds Julian. Julian dribbling up court. Stopped a little bit, finally gets it across half court just before 10 seconds. No look pass to the right corner. Julian hounded by Weta this time. Trying to get to someone and passes it right to Drumright. Tried to get to a cutting Lanning, but instead Drumright to Batiste, and Batiste is fouled hard going to the basket, and an awkward landing there on the stanchion of the basketball post. Looks like Batiste is going to be okay, though. He'll go to the line for two.
Yeah, another thing that Independence is going to have to look at is starting to control a little bit of their turnovers as they are now up to 8 turnovers in this half to Collegiate's only 2.
And once again, a little bit of confusion down at the scorer's table, seeing who's going to the line and who the foul might have been on. It looked like it was Batiste that was fouled.
Can't imagine who else it would be, as Batiste was the one that went crashing into the goalpost.
Could also be a clock issue or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. It looked like it was pretty simple, though. Batiste was fouled in the back, trying to drive to the basket by what looked like it was Bride.
Yeah, pointing back up at the clock, I do believe it was a bit of a clock issue.
And looks like this could be a situation of a flagrant foul, in fact. And indeed it is, as Gregory is going to be called for a flagrant foul on A.J. Batiste. We did say it was a bit of a hard foul, and he had an awkward landing into the goal stanchion.
Yeah.
So it will be Drumright going to the line for the flagrant, makes the first free throw. Okay, so to clear this up, what it would have been was it was an intentional foul on Carter Drumright, not a play on the basketball, as Drumright was driving down the court in transition. It seemed like a player grabbed him from behind and fouled him. So that's where the foul is called. And now A.J. Batiste is going to go to the line for his 2 free throws on the shooting foul. So the intentional foul in transition gets the Spartans a free 2 points off of Carter Drumright's made free throws. And now A.J. Batiste will go to the line for his 2 free throws on the foul. And his first one is good. Second free throw up and good. So the Spartans come away with 4 points on a possession after the intentional foul and flagrant free throws were made by Carter Drumright and the 2 foul shots made by A.J. Batiste. Independent struggling to get the ball down court. Ball poked loose, but regathered by Gregory. 5.5 minutes now left in the half. 30-10 the score for the Spartans. Julian drives into the lane and was fouled as he went up. Weta whistled for the foul that time, his first.
Definitely starting to get into a little bit of a more physical game as both of these teams are trying to control the paint and seeing a little bit of frustration from Independence.
Julian gets the first free throw to go. And Bunyard is going to check in for Gregory. Julian misses second one off the back iron. Rebound fought for, though, Drumright, and a clearance play for the Spartans as Batiste goes up and dunks it. A.J. Batiste slams it home in transition for the Spartans, and it's now 32-11 after an exclamation point. Landing on the right side, dribbling against Weta, steps back, takes the 3, no good, off the back iron. Weta fighting for the rebound. Bodies flying to the floor. Simon now in transition for the Spartans. Ball tipped away, tries to save it. And they're going to say Simon touched it while he was out of bounds. So ball going the other way from the Spartan baseline. And it's going to be a near full line change for the Spartans, as it'll be Chege, Shackelford, Hirani, and Weta checking in for the Spartans. Jack Grace, the only remaining player from the former rotation.
Interesting to mention, Roman Hirani and Harrison Simon, both players we didn't expect would get a whole lot of time, both coming in these kind of closer matchups as well.
Bunyard double-teamed, gets it back out to Julian. Julian thought about the 3, and he thought about it a little too long as he dragged his foot on the fake attempt, called for the travel. Spartans have started to gap the Bulldogs in this one, 32-11 the score, 4.5 minutes left until the half. Weta gets it to Chege at the top of the key. Chege driving into the lane. A little bit of a bull and china shop action, though, as he gets called for the charge. Chege picked up the ball and looked more like a running back trying to break through the line that time than like a basketball player trying to go up for a layup, and is duly whistled for the charge. Ball down the court, landing in the fast break. Misses the layup, just a little hard off the glass. Ball rebounded, though, this time by Vale. And kicked back out to the top of the key. Bunyard with the ball defended by Grace. Ball handed back out to Julian. Julian trying to direct traffic. Still going against Shackelford, and a blocking foul called on Shackelford as he impeded his progress. Raspberry comes in for Chege.
Coach Fiegel quick to switch in a lot of his players as this game is getting a little bit more physical, wanting to give them as much opportunity to take breaks as possible.
Julian controlling point. Quick pass in as Bride tried to go in amongst 3 Spartan defenders and was lucky that he didn't turn it over. Ball deflected out of bounds off of what looks like Weta.
That's just never going to happen in a million years.
Julian kicks it out to Bunyard. Ball stolen away by Batiste. One-on-one opportunity in transition, and Batiste lays it in. No contest that time by Julian. Didn't want to get called for a foul. Landing back to Julian. Julian still trying to direct traffic. Not a lot going right now for the Independence offense. Bunyard pass stolen by Weta that time. Tried to get an in pass to the block. Batiste once again in transition. This time met at the rim by Bride. Great block that time by Bride. Batiste turned away. Ball fought for near midcourt. Not sure who has this ball. Hirani was on the floor for it, and a jump ball is finally called. Possession arrow favors Independence.
Man, that was number 26th turnover of the game, as he's been kind of the one in charge of facing this full court defense by Collegiate, and he's just really getting bitten for it.
Foul called on the floor as Bride tried to drive to the basket. Called on Grace. Ball back out to Julian on the right wing. Ball kicked off of Lanning. Weta now. 2-on-1 opportunity. Gives it up to Batiste in transition. No good. Weta tries to follow it with a layup. He was fouled as he tried to come down with the rebound. Another great follow-up there by the Spartans, by Weta and by Batiste.
Absolutely. They're forcing all kinds of turnovers from this Independence team, as they are clearly starting to fall in a little bit of fatigue, as they clearly do not have as deep of a bench to call upon as Collegiate does, as most of their starting lineup has not left so far.
Weta makes his first of 2 free throws, and Dye will sub in for Lanning. 3 minutes left until half. Spartans lead now, 35-11. Free throw no good, rebounded by Batiste. Couldn't get the look to go, couldn't get the second chance. Transition opportunity for Independence was swatted out of bounds as Julian tried to come up the court with the ball. So we'll get a reset here as Independence has the ball. Now in the half court, controlled by Bride. Gets it back out to Julian. Kicks it out to Dye in the right wing. Dye tries to get the ball inside, picked off by Raspberry this time. Raspberry picks up his dribble, hands it off to Grace. Grace dribbles into the lane, spin move, shot, off the back iron and good. Smooth shot by Jack Grace. And a great spin move to set up that look. Julian picks up his dribble at half court. Passes it off to Dye. Dye dribbles the baseline, tries to put it off, hits the underside of the rim. Raspberry scraps for a rebound and gets it back out to Drumright. Great effort play there by Raspberry. Drumright now down the other side of the court, cutting, knifing into the lane. No good. Shot rejected. Julian going to try to slow things down a little bit this time for Independence, as you can see a little bit of fatigue starting to set in. Dye on the left side now works towards the baseline, gets it back to Julian. Julian hook shot to absolutely nobody, gets it to Batiste. Batiste in transition once again, blocked by Bride. Second time this game that Batiste has been sent packing by Bride.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit easier to predict where Batiste is going to go, as he's been focusing on those layups and breakaways, allowing the team to kind of predict his movements, where he's going to go, but it's still really hard to just compete with pure athleticism.
Open three in the right corner for Jack Grace, and he sinks it. Spartan setting up press once again. Simon back into the game. Ball taken up by Lanning at the top of the court. Lanning Dribbles to his left, goes up for the shot, and another blocking foul called on Brett Wetta. Looked like he was set on the block, but not quite, as he's going to be whistled. Second foul on him.
Man, fouls still definitely starting to get heavy into this game, but Collegiate still leading 40 to Independence 11. Collegiate clearly showing tons of dominance in this game.
First free throw good by Lanning. That's the first points that the Bulldogs have scored in a great while. Spartans have dominated this section of the game, really this whole entire second quarter. Lanning, second free throw, rims in.
Independence team showing a large variety of people who have scored points, but it's clearly just not enough, as most have only scored 2 to 5 points.
Raspberry down the left side, fakes out defender, passes back out to Grace. Grace now dribbling against the baseline, pulls the ball back out, gets it to Batiste. Swung back to Grace, and Grace is going to be whistled for a travel as he took too many steps before dribbling the ball.
I believe that is his second foul of the game, or travel of this game.
Just under a minute now left in the half. Lanning almost has the ball trickle away from him, able to regain it though. Lanning dribbled around Batiste, but he stepped on the sideline in doing so and turns it back over to the Spartans. Grace now in possession for the Spartans, gets it back to Raspberry. Raspberry pulls up from mid-range from the elbow, no good. Lanning comes away with the rebound, tries to throw it off a defender, unable to, as Simon went up with the ball and was rejected. Another great effort play there for the Spartans on the boards.
Yeah, I think it took Simon a little bit by surprise that that ball was still in bounds after that.
Batiste looking for someone to pass to, finds Drumright finally on the right side. Ball swung back to him. Uncontested three, well off the mark for Batiste. Double team once again by the Spartans in the half court. 17 seconds left in the half. Pass in, fumbled around. Finally passed back in, and a foul is going to be called that time on what looks like Harrison Simon.
Collegiate starting to get in a little bit of trouble on these blocking fouls, as Independence is clearly showing a lot more physicality. They know they have to power their way up to these points, and Collegiate responding in kind.
It's Sprague at the line, and he makes the first free throw.
His first point of this game so far.
Sprague hits a second. Score now 40-15 in favor of the Spartans. Batiste dribbles down the right side. Doesn't find anything. Pulls the ball back out. 5 seconds left. Batiste trying to create himself. Floater in the lane. Good by the Spartans. A.J. Batiste sends the Spartans into the locker room with a big basket, as the Spartans are starting to run away with this one, leading 42-15.
Batiste single-handedly scoring more than the entire Independence team combined with his own 21 points, whereas the highest scorer on the Independence team is number 15 with a measly 5 in comparison. But that's not to mention that the entirety of the Collegiate team has really just been going crazy on offense. Number 2, Jack Grace with his own 8 points, Brett Wetta with his own 5, and several other players getting some of their own points. They've just been firing on all cylinders on offense. I think the biggest thing to talk about is their defense. They showed some really great stuff at the start of the second quarter, kind of got into a little bit of foul trouble kind of towards the end of the half, but all in all, still some really good stuff to be looking at.
Yeah, this really seems like a situation where the Spartans are getting everything they would want from a Fiegel-run team. Really frantic pace on defense and offense both. It's been a really good situation for them on both ends of the court, getting really kind of everything they could possibly want.
Absolutely.
Well, with that, we'll take about a 10-minute break from Circle here as the Spartans lead 42-15. We'll be back for the start of the second half. Welcome back to the Collegiate Sports Network. Getting ready to get underway here with the second half as Collegiate is dominating this one 42-15 behind a great scoring performance from A.J. Batiste and great defensive play overall.
Absolutely. I don't think there's a whole lot to say about this Collegiate team. Oh, as we have a quick blackout here of the overhead lights. Don't know what that's all about. Anyway, yeah, not a whole lot to say about this Collegiate team. A.J. Batiste leading with 21 points. The rest of the team kind of supporting him from there, picking off each other. A lot of assists going around, not only in the way of passing, but kind of just playing off of each other, their missed shots. And on the other hand, this Independence team is just really struggling. You can't say that they're playing badly because they're definitely, we see them out there, they're definitely doing what they can with their strategy allotted to them, but they just can't get anything out of it. They've been super badly struggling on offense all around, and in the case of defense, they just cannot stop this Collegiate team. Even when A.J. Batiste, you know, it's starting to get a little more predictable when he drives it up the lane, and they've been able to stop him a couple times. At this point, it's too little too late.
Yeah, it seems like certainly the Spartans kind of getting everything going their way so far. Ahmad takes the ball up the right side of the court, pass to Batiste, in pass to Chege on the block against three defenders and blocked this time. Another block by Bride. That's his third of the game. Bunyard once again has the ball taken away from him, and it's tipped out of bounds. So far, Bride for Independence has been one of the better players, certainly on defense, has stopped Batiste a couple of times at the rim, and that time got a block on Chege.
Yeah, it's definitely very hard to get that kind of blockage, especially against big guys like them, but he's been doing it consistently.
Landing down the baseline, layup, no good. Too hard that time once again, as David Chege comes down with the rebound for the Spartans. Fiegel imploring the Spartans to move quickly as Weta pulls the ball back out, and the Spartans have to set into half-court offense. Ball swung around the perimeter. Batiste in the left corner for three. No good, off the mark. And the ball trickles far out this time to Julian, and he lays it up in transition. Good look for Julian as he had a one-on-one opportunity against Ahmad.
Yeah, you can definitely see how Fiegel wants to Collegiate to take back advantage of this pacing.
Weta tried to dribble it behind his back and nearly just gave it to an Independence Bulldog. Instead, the ball's tied up and possession arrow favors Independence. It's a bit of a sloppy start here to the second half for the Spartans so far, as Independence is back in possession. This time, it's Bunyard with the ball. Hands it back to Lanning as he falls to the floor. Lanning dribbling left against Shackelford. On the left side, into the lane, no good. Shot by Gregory. Shackelford brings the ball down. Weta now against three defenders, decides to pull the ball back out, back to Ahmad. Now Weta on the left side. In pass to Chege. Chege fighting for it. And Julian's going to be whistled for the reach-in foul. Got a little over-aggressive there, trying to steal the ball away. So far, Independence doing a good job of stopping that in-pass to David Chege and really stopping the overall cuts by the offense that the Spartans have been able to get. Ball swung out. This time the ball is into Chege. Chege misses the layup, though, although the ball's going to be tipped out of bounds off of Independence, so the Spartans will keep it on this end, but certainly finding it hard to get something going on offense.
Trying to utilize Chege in the paint. He's definitely getting shut down just a little bit.
And Chege pushes off his defender. That time it was Bride, giving Chege more problems as he's going to get called for a charge.
Man, Chege just getting a little too physical going into this half.
Raspberry will check in for Chege that time. As Independence looks to get the ball in. Julian in possession now. Throws it back across the court to Gregory. Gets it to Bunyard. Bunyard right at half court. Knifes in against the defense. Tried to go against both Shackelford and Weta, and is going to get bailed out by a foul call on Shackelford. Really, all in all, a bit of an uncontrolled drive into the lane that time for Bunyard, but a little bit of undisciplined defense on the Spartans is going to bail him out, and he'll have the chance to go to the line for 2 points.
Yeah, let's be real here. 20 kind of got a little lucky there when it comes to that foul.
First free throw is good.
That's for his first points of this game.
Grace checks in for Shackelford. Yeah, the situation there, Aiden, I'm not entirely sure Shackelford was set, but it's definitely a bit of a 50-50 call. Might have been better if it was a no call, but either way, Bunyard gets sent to the line, misses the second free throw, and rebounded by Raspberry. Weta moving up the court quickly, now gets it out to Grace. Grace pass cross court to Ahmad, to Raspberry, back to Ahmad on the right wing. Kicks it out to Batiste, and Batiste was caught dragging his foot, travel called.
Yeah, Batiste more worried about the guy in front of him than his own footwork there.
As we said, Spartans struggling a little bit to get something going on offense. Ball ripped away from Bunyard, though, in the backcourt. Weta hands it off to Batiste. Batiste, stonewalled, tries to get the ball up through a foul, unable to. But as we said, foul is called. And A.J. Batiste will go to the line, shooting 2.
Man, number 20, that is his 7th turnover of the game with only 1 point in return. Definitely forced to handle the ball a little more than he was ready to.
First free throw misses from Batiste. Yeah, Aiden, like you said, Bunyard has certainly struggled with the ball in his hands a little bit tonight. Just getting out-muscled and out-manned, it seems like, by the Spartan defense.
Although collegiate offense and defense showing a lot more sloppy play going into this half.
Yeah, certainly have a couple of kinks that need to get worked out here for the Spartans. Second free throw, though, goes in for Batiste, and he'll be subbed out for Drumright. Spartans not getting the easy looks to the basket that they had grown accustomed to in the first half, and now having to grind out a couple of possessions. Defense still keeping its end of the bargain up for the most part, though, as the Spartans, with their full court pressure, have converted a couple of turnovers. Gregory looking for someone to get the ball into, stolen by Weta. Spartans now on their own end of the court. Weta fouled, almost got the basket to go. Instead, he'll have 2 shots from the line.
Great defensive work from Weta right there. He saw that pass coming, was able to take it away for himself, and almost converted the for points on his end.
Weta's first free throw misses a little too hard off the back iron. Weta now second free throw, gets it to go. Score now 44-18. Spartans lead with 5.5 minutes left in the third. Independence starting to have problems moving the ball up past half court. Ball nearly stolen away by Weta. He's sold out for the steal. It's going to be 5-on-4 now for Independence, and they take advantage of it as Bride gets it to go.
Independence currently outscoring Collegiate in this second half here, as Independence has made it up to 20 points, whereas Collegiate's only scored 2.
Drumright knifes his way through the lane. Awkward shot, though. Couldn't get it to go. Gregory trying to move the ball up court, nearly stolen away. Gets it back out to Julian, who will set up the offense. Julian knifes into the lane, gets it to Vale, and Vale gets it to go.
Independence moving with great efficiency and teamwork here, picking up a lot more points.
Grace dribbles in, kicks it out to Raspberry. Raspberry in the key against 3 defenders, rejected. Weta comes up with it to Drumright in the left corner, gets it to go for 3. Big shot by Carter. Drumright stems this run a little bit for Independence. Jack Grace comes up with the ball in the half court after a steal and gets called for the foul. Great job by Jack Grace to just go up with the ball, even though he didn't necessarily have full possession. It gets him the whistle, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Man, I think that 3 might have stemmed something from this Collegiate team. Hopefully we see a little bit more offensive work.
Grace gets the first free throw to go. And Chege and Batiste will check in for the Spartans. Drum right, Ahmad will check out. No, sorry, drum right still in the game. It's Weta and Ahmad checking out. Gray's second free throw is good. Score now 49-22 in favor of the Spartans. As a quick 5-0 run by the Spartans has them back up to a sizable lead as they are up 27 now on the Bulldogs. Independence moving quickly, and the ball's just thrown out of bounds by Lemos.
Yeah, don't really know what that was there. However, he was getting hounded by, it seems like, 4 collegiate defenders in the paint.
Simon fakes the pass, fouled as he went up with the ball. Or they might have called travel. No, they did call travel. Okay, it looked like a foul was called, but instead it's a travel on Simon. Took too many steps with the ball. Independence now with possession. Julian trying to take it up court. Double teamed by Drumright and Batiste. Nearly falls with it. Trying to get it back to someone. Finally finds Bride, luckily for him. Now Vale with the ball. Dribbles into the paint. Kicks it back out to Julian. Julian on the right side. Tries to go up to someone. Can't find anyone. Simon takes it away. One-on-one opportunity for Simon down the court. Tries to get the layup. Scorches it. Raspberry on the rebound. Can't get it to go. Raspberry gets his own rebound, though. Tries to put it back up. Gives it off to Simon. And ball stolen away by Julian. Julian now down the court. Pursued by Chege. Chege affects the shot enough to force him to miss, and the Spartans come away with the ball. Now Raspberry down the right side of the court. Raspberry against Bride. Raspberry, wild shot, gets it to go. And the Spartans come out of that frantic pace with 2 points.
Raspberry showing an absolute monstrous effort on defense so far today. Picks up 2 of his own points.
And Independence will take their 4th time out of the game with 3:15 left here in this third quarter.
Wow, Jack Grace showing up as the second most prominent scorer here, as A.J. Batiste hasn't quite picked up any of his own points so far in this half, but Jack Grace now up to 10 for himself, showing just a clear collegiate teamwork here as they've kind of struggled offensively going in here, but right now we're just seeing some great teamwork happening, still great, honestly amazing effort on defense, some of the best defense we've seen from this collegiate team so far. Independence, however, has shown a lot more promise on offense, getting a lot more looks than they have in the past. I don't know whether to attribute that to just an ability to get past that kind of full court pressure, just an ability to kind of capitalize on more of those first looks. I think it's more the latter, as a lot of these first looks, especially in the way of layups or two-pointers, have been way more successful. However, with the score of 51-22, there's only so much they can do.
Yeah, certainly a lot more fight out of Independence this half so far. Like you said, Aiden, though, not a whole lot that you can do when you've dug yourself a 20-plus point hole. Independence trying to get the ball in, finally finds Gregory. Gregory passes back to Bride. Bride dribbling up court. Gets a pass back to Julian. Julian kicks back to Bride. Left corner, back to Julian. Top of the key. Dribbles to his left against Raspberry. Bride kicks it out. Long three by Gregory. Air ball. Chege nearly saves it, but it's going to be out of bounds. Going Independence's way.
Great effort by Chege there, however, as we kind of saw as it comes down with the rebound, he's been kind of struggling controlling the ball as it comes down on his head.
Julian asking for the ball, going to be denied by Bride for now. Bride dribbles off his foot, able to recollect. And Julian's going to be fouled out near half court by David Chege. Julian just starting to look frustrated, shaking his head as he goes to the sidelines to try to inbound the ball. Spartans have certainly not given him an easy time this game. Ball at the top of the key, 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. 51-22, the Spartans lead. Julian dribbles in against Raspberry. Off kilter shot, unable to get it to go. Chege comes down with the rebound, but firmly out of bounds.
Man, Chege putting in all the effort, but not getting a whole lot of results as a lot of his rebounds have kind of gone askew.
Julian in the left corner gets it into Vale. Vale contested well by Batiste, forces the miss. Rebound out 3, no good, and the layup good by Vale on the 3rd attempt, as he was all alone on the block to receive the rebound. Julian nearly gets in the passing lane as the ball is tipped out of bounds. That'll allow for mass substitutions for the Spartans, as it's Ahmad, Harani, Weta, and Shackelford all into the game for the Spartans. Shackelford on the block against 3 defenders, passes back out to Harani. Harani back to Grace at the top of the key. Out to Shackelford on the left elbow. Out to Grace, corner 3, in. Good roll by Jack Grace, his 3rd 3 of the game.
Jack Grace has been cold with those corner 3s.
More pressure by the Spartans, stolen away by Weta. Goes up within transition, no good. Harani follows it up with the rebound. Tries to kick it back out to Shackelford, instead turns it over to Lemos. Ball on the floor. Shackelford comes away with it after a great pickup by Grace. Shackelford up court to Weta and throws it way over his head. Fiegel not all too pleased with that, a little wondering what the Spartans are doing. That time Shackelford throwing it over Weta's head. Bright has the ball, trying to take it up court for the Bulldogs. 1 minute now left in the 3rd quarter. Spartans lead by 30, 54-24. Foul called on the floor as Bright was trying to drive to the basket. We'll see who this is called on. And it's going to be called on Grace, his 2nd foul. Inbounds pass deflected away, and it will remain with Julian and the Independence Bulldogs.
Collegiate defense once again giving this Independence team a hard time on offense.
Julian gets the ball into Lanning. Lanning dribbles behind his back against Weta. 3 in the corner. Bride, no good, off the mark. And Harani comes down with the rebound. Kicks it out to Ahmad as the Spartans try to drive the ball up the court. Ahmad finally gets across half court, defended by Gregory. Just under a minute now left in the quarter. Harani on the left corner. Shackelford kicks it to Grace. Back to Weta. Weta fumbled it a little bit, regains possession. Settles down the offense. Starting to direct traffic. Ball out to Ahmad on the right wing. Out to Harani. Spartans starting to rotate a little bit on the perimeter. Ball stolen away by Lanning, though. Lanning in fast break. Ahmad and Shackelford trying to chase him down. Unable to do so, though, and Lanning gets the layup to go. 15 seconds now left in the quarter. Spartans going to try to get maybe one final shot before the end of the period. Ahmad dribbling in, trying to do it himself. Lays it up and no good, but a foul. 6 seconds left.
That was Harani's 2nd turnover in a matter of minutes. Kind of interesting to see there. I think it's just accountable to Independence defense just getting way more aggressive as Harani's been kind of caught a little more off guard by some of the plays that Collegiate has been running. Definitely kind of showing the experience of the Collegiate players in comparison to kind of a newer player on varsity.
Ahmad gets the first free throw to go for the Spartans. Takes a breath, 2nd one up, and good. Weta steals off the inbounds pass, goes up for it right at the buzzer, can't get it to go. Clock didn't start properly, and the quarter is going to be whistled as over. Weta almost was able to come away with the steal and layup, but missed the layup. So that'll end the third quarter as the Spartans lead 57-26.
Yeah, not a whole lot to say about that quarter. Collegiate definitely showing a little bit more of a lackluster, a little bit honestly kind of lazy offense, or maybe just tired offense, who could say, but they did show up with a bit more turnovers as well, almost matching the amount of turnovers they've had in the entire first half in just one quarter, whereas Independence was kind of showing up, taking advantage, showing that, while the score might have run away from them a little bit, they haven't taken away from that aggression. However, they have almost doubled the amount of turnovers from Collegiate, and they have just really shown that, while they can play aggressively, while they can play hard on offense, Collegiate defense will run with them the entire time.
Yeah, Aiden, that's a good point. As much as the Spartans have a big lead in this game, most of that can be attributed to the first half. The third quarter, they had a couple of struggles. The defense, like I said, certainly able to keep up with them. The offense, though, at times, a little bit careless with the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit careless with the ball. That could be attributed, I think, just to a little bit of, honestly, just lack of aggression, lack of motivation to continue this game. As they're having a little bit of trouble with the scoreboard. They are not winning by 139 points, but winning by about 30 points, I believe. It's kind of hard to find the motivation to continue pressing hard, especially on offense. But so we can definitely see the point attributed to Collegiate.
Yeah, certainly having some problems with the scoreboard, trying to get it back going here, as the Spartan point total has to be wound down from its previous 136.
Yeah, a lot of technical difficulties showing up so far today. Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly has been a solid offensive game for the Spartans. Not sure if it's totaled up to 136, but...
Yeah, definitely one of their better days as the score winds down and goes back up to 156.
Audible sigh from the crowd.
Yeah. As the Collegiate parents are now joking with the refs, and the players are going back to their coaches, taking advantage of this time to take a bit of a longer time out in this quarter as we are waiting on further technical difficulties.
As we were saying, though, Aiden, it seems like the Spartans maybe struggled a little bit in the third quarter, a little bit more certainly than they had in the first half. Still solid play by the Spartans. A.J. Batiste, it seems like, got focused on by the defense, though, for the most part, which really kind of hurt the Spartan offense. Certainly good play, though, still by Brett Wetta. I was really impressed with him this quarter. He's able to get a couple of steals and a couple of layups, able to draw a couple of fouls and get to the line.
Absolutely. I think kind of expand on what you were saying about A.J. Batiste. He scored 22 points in the first half of this game, and an absolutely astounding performance by him. But we kind of saw at the end of that second quarter how he was starting to get focused in on by the other team, as he was kind of getting honed in on a lot more of his shots were going back down in his face. And then we saw in this third quarter that they could kind of, predict his movements, kind of see where he was going. He was very strictly and consistently going down into the paint. Same layups over and over, and that's very easy to predict for really any high school defense. So it's really no question as to why Fiegel has kind of left him sitting on the bench for more of this quarter here.
Still struggling with our technical difficulties here on the scoreboard. Both teams waiting as trying to get to what the actual score of this game is.
Hearing another audible sigh from the crowd as the score is going up as... Oh. Nope. They missed it once again. Trying to... I could not tell you in any way, shape, or form as to what is going on here.
I do believe the score to be 55-26. The problem is we get stuck at 56 and we can't go back down to 55, it would seem.
They hit 56, and then it goes to 156. So it looks like they're gonna
resume it at 57-26. Although, like I said, pretty sure this game is at 55-26.
I think what they might be doing is just leaving it at that and officiating it to be 2 points less on collegiate. As we resume gameplay here.
Here we go, ready to get back going. Asa Ahmad with the ball in cut to Weta. Weta fakes his defender going up and gets the foul called. Weta put him in the popcorn machine, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Great fake by Brett Weta, trying to catch that team a little bit off guard with some absolutely explosive gameplay going into this quarter.
So if Weta can make both these free throws, there's one. If we can make both these free throws, we might get to the score that is actually displayed on the scoreboard. And, of course, he misses the second one, so we're still a little bit unbalanced. The score 56-26 now for the Spartans. Ball taken up past right to Jack Grace. Independence tried to get an in-cut, unable to do so. Weta moving quickly down the court, pulls up for the jumper, high off the rim, no good. Hirani comes down with the rebound. Shackelford open for mid-range, can't make the shot. Hirani comes down with another rebound, kicks it, and a travel is going to be called as Hirani fell to the floor. A lot of contact there, nothing called though, but the travel.
I mean, really though, talking about missed looks, Brett Weta, James Shackelford, they were doing everything in their power to get those open looks. They had some great gameplay there, but when it came to making the shot, they just could not come down with it.
Yeah, it looked like they might have been just a little too open on those. They were wide, wide open. Lanning at the top of the key, gives it back off to Bride. Bride hands it off. Gets it to Julian. Back to Lanning. Lanning going against Hirani. Jump stop. Gives it back to Julian. Back to Lanning. Now Lanning pulls the 3. In and out. Rebound, though, by Vale over the head of Weta. Comes down with it. Ahmad dribbling against the defender, puts up the shot and gets it to go off the glass. Great look there by Asa Ahmad. Great East, Raspberry, and Drumright. The only player that remains on the court is Hirani. Free throw is up and no good off the back iron. Vale couldn't convert it, and Chege comes down with the rebound. Raspberry now dribbling, gets it off to Drumright. Drumright dribbles down the left, now gets it off to Hirani. Hirani dribbling against Lanning, picks up his dribble. Forced to give it to Chege. Hands it off to Batiste. Batiste, jumper from the left wing, can't get it to go. Raspberry saves it, but saves it off to Vale. And Independence will come away with possession. Ball out to Julian, kicked out to the corner. Easy jumper look, and no good. Gregory couldn't come away with the mid-range shot. Batiste moving up court to Drumright. Gets it off to Chege. Chege contested, couldn't quite come down with it. Batiste now. Gets it off to Drumright. Drumright dribbling in against the defender, Gregory. Kicks it to Hirani in the right corner. Chege has it stripped away. Lanning now with the ball. Ball on the floor. Picked up by Julian. Julian, the other side, tries to do the same thing. To little avail. Rebound brought down, though, by Chege. Finally now secured by Batiste. Batiste goes up with it again. No good. Raspberry, fourth attempt, gets it to go. More dogged determination that time by the Spartans on the glass. Nets them too. And they now lead 61-32. Julian at the top of the key. Good in-pass cut there to Lanning. And that's 2 points there for Independent. One of the more well-executed sets we've seen from them so far this game. Raspberry now takes the ball. 3 minutes left in the game. Drumright dribbles into the defender. Great pass off to Chege and gets it to go. Drumright elevated and dumped the pass off to Chege. Great pass by Carter Drumright, and he'll get the assist to David Chege. Pass in for Independence and tipped away by David Chege. Julian was looking that time for Sprague. Clock has begun to run in this game. 2.5 minutes left. Spartans lead by 29, 63-34. Ball in, shot up, blocked by David Chege. Drumright moving quickly down the court, dribbles behind his back. Able to stop his momentum. Ball now out to Raspberry on the left corner. Spartans swinging it around the perimeter. Out to Grace on the right wing. Just under 2 minutes now left. Batiste into Chege. Chege on the left elbow decides to dribble in against the defense and fouled. Good drive by David Chege to the basket. We saw him try to do that in the first half and was called for the charge. That time he was able to get around a defender and draw a foul. So Chege will go to the line for two. Chege's first free throw misses off the back iron. And Drumright will sub out for Harani. Chege's second free throw in and out, and rebounded that time by Sprague. Crane moving the ball up quickly now. Has it on the right side, hands it off to Lemos. Lemos rejected once again by David Chege, his second block in 2 possessions. Moves it up to A.J. Batiste. And he lays it up and in off the glass. And that might put an exclamation to this one as A.J. Batiste scores another. Score now 65-34 for the Spartans. Just 30 seconds left in the game, and a substitution is going to be called here, allowing Independence to get a couple of extra players into this game that haven't previously been in. And they'll inbound it from the side. Just 20 seconds now left. Ball taken at the top of the key by Small. Kicks it back out, shot taken, and missed everything that time. Ball rebounded out to Weta, 7 seconds left, and the Spartans are going to dribble out the rest of the clock. So the Spartans will win this one going away 65-34 over Independence. And the Spartans, after a tough first game against Parsons, will now move to 2-1 on the season. Starting to show good signs of improvement is the Spartan offense and defense. Really good team effort today by the Wichita Collegiate Spartans, able to overcome a solid third quarter from Independence. But besides that, it was really all Wichita Collegiate, kind of exactly the type of offense and defense that Coach Mitch Fiegel is looking for in this game. Spartans, not a lot more to be said than a dominating performance from them today. Player of the game in all likelihood has to be A.J. Batiste. Came away tonight with 24 points altogether. Most of that came during the first half. Really all but 4 or 5 of those points came